Lots of waiver wire options and injuries to discuss up next on Fantasy Baseball Today in 5. Welcome into FBT in 5 on Monday, July 22nd. I am Frank Stampfl, joined by Chris Towers, and let's start things off with waiver wire pitchers. Impressive outings from 3 youngsters. Hayden Birdsong, an awesome start at Coors Field, 6 innings, 2 runs, 12 strikeouts, 27 whiffs on 98 pitches. Drew Thorpe has turned in 5 quality starts in a row. He was at the Royals this weekend where he threw 6 shutout innings with 5 strikeouts, 18 whiffs on 97 pitches. And Luis Ortiz has pitched quite well for the Pirates. He faced the Phillies this weekend where he threw 7 shutout innings, only 2 strikeouts in that one. Chris, how would you rank this group? Ortiz, Thorpe, and Hayden Birdsong.
Yeah, it's Birdsong at the top pretty clearly, and then I would go Thorpe and Ortiz, but I'm admittedly not particularly interested in Thorpe or Ortiz. Thorpe, the one thing I will say is in this start, he got 7 whiffs with his slider, and if that was a portent of things to come, then that could definitely change my mind on him because the changeup is really good, and everything else has been pretty bad. He had a 17% whiff rate on the slider entering this start, so I need to see more. But if that was something real, then we can start to talk about Drew Thorpe being fantasy relevant. Despite the 3.03 ERA, 4.66 FIP, makes me think that it's unlikely to last unless he really improves. So Birdsong is the clear most interesting player here. I've liked his fastball a lot, but he completely changed the pitch mix in this one, went heavy on the curveball, which had been his least used pitch entering this start. And like you said, 27 whiffs, that tied for the most in any start by any pitcher this season. It's tied for 21st most over the past 5 seasons. And if you look at the list of guys who've had 27 or more whiffs in a start, it's basically a bunch of stars, and Patrick Sandoval is the one outlier. He had a 31 whiff start. I tend to lean more on the Hayden Birdsong is a Patrick Sandoval type outlier, especially because it's Coors Field. Don't know how transferable anything that he showed in this one is moving forward in normal atmospheric conditions, but I think he's clearly just in this start shown more upside than Ortiz or Thorpe has shown at any point.
What about someone like Robbie Ray, who is working his way back from Tommy John surgery? He made another rehab start Friday at AAA where he threw 5 1/3 shutout innings with 7 strikeouts. He's 62% rostered. Where would Robbie Ray rank amongst that group?
I might put him at the top. I think it's between him and Birdsong for sure. And obviously we've seen Robbie Ray be a difference maker at the major league level in 2021. 2022, he wasn't quite as good, but was still a must-start pitcher. So I think I would give Ray the edge. He also had 16 strikeouts in like 10 innings over his past 2 rehab starts. So hopefully that's a sign of good things to come. I'm not expecting him to be an ace, but he has that upside. I'm not sure anybody else in that conversation does.
Let's talk waiver wire outfielders. And Jorge Soler launched the longest home run in baseball this season. He did that on Sunday, 2 for 4 with his 11th home run, 478 feet. Lars Nootbaar has started off the second half with some good performances here. 3 for 7 with a steal across the doubleheader on Saturday. 1 for 3 with his 7th home run on Sunday. And Lawrence Butler continues to hit 3 multi-hit games this weekend. And so far in July, batting .385 with 7 homers, 22 RBI, 2 steals, and a 1324 OPS. Chris, how would you rank Soler, Nootbaar, and Lawrence Butler?
I know Soler and Butler are both in Scott White's top sleeper pitchers for week 18, so that's something to keep in mind. Soler, 8 games for the Giants this week, so if you want to give him an edge there, I think that's fine in the short term. But I'm chasing upside with Butler here, who has shown really, really impressive tools, has pretty good minor league numbers. He's not, I think he's 23 years old, so he's not exactly old. Hasn't been playing against lefties. That's a big mark against him, but hits the ball really hard. He's red hot right now, 7 homers, 22 RBI in the month of July. So I'll give Butler the edge and just hope that he's turning what had previously just been kind of an interesting collection of tools into, something resembling a real baseball player.
Let's wrap up with some news and notes. Lots of injuries this weekend, and specifically for the Atlanta Braves, Ozzie Albies suffered a left wrist fracture and will miss approximately 8 weeks, which takes us up to late September. So in any leagues where you don't have IL spots, I think Albies is an easy drop. And even in leagues where if you're limited to only 3 or 5 IL spots, he's probably a drop in those formats as well. Lots of pitching injuries coming out of the All-Star break. Max Fried went on the IL with left forearm neuritis. We had Ryan Pepio go on the IL with a right knee infection. Reese Olson on the IL with a right shoulder strain. And then we got Julio Rodriguez on Sunday, crashed into the wall. He underwent x-rays on his right ankle, which came back negative. Manager Scott Service said J-Rod is day-to-day with a little bit of an ankle sprain, but it looked pretty bad. And if we don't have a clear update on Monday, I think you probably want to get away from Julio Rodriguez this week. For more extensive fantasy baseball coverage, listen to the Fantasy Baseball Today podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, the Odyssey app, or anywhere else podcasts are found. Thanks for listening to Fantasy Baseball Today in 5, and we will be back again tomorrow. Bye-bye.